Welcome back to JNS's inaugural conference here in Jerusalem, in the heart and home of the Jewish capital here, and we are here at the Waldorf. It's been a really beautiful day, and I'm having so many nice conversations with amazing guests, experts, and learning from them, and they're learning from me, and we're being able to amplify these stories across broadcast media here at JNS. So welcome to today. We're going to bring you through to tonight as well. And here sitting beside me is Ali London. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be at your inaugural policy summit.
Yeah, it's really welcoming here. I like the people, the content. It's really great. Everyone has something to learn, huh?
It's a great vibe. There's some fantastic speakers, panelists, experts, and a really great group of people all coming together for one common cause: to stand up for the Jewish community and to stand up for Israel.
Now, I had heard about you a few months ago when you went into Israel with a bunch of my friends as well.
Yeah.
That trip looked amazing. Tell me about it.
It was absolutely incredible. That was actually my second time. So I came 6 weeks after October 7th originally, and when I came back in
And that was your first time here ever, right?
Yes,
yeah.
It was very tough to see. I went to Bar Aza, and on my second trip in January, went to Kibbutz Ner Oz. I went to Majel Shams and actually met with the families of victims of the Hezbollah rocket attack on the soccer field. So, it was very emotional, meeting the family members, meeting survivors from the Nova Festival, hearing their stories. And, what I wanted to do is try to amplify these people's stories and try to share it with the world, because there's so many stories out there, and every single person deserves a voice, whether they lost their life, whether their families need to get a message out there. So that was my last trip.
It's also one thing to hear it, and then it's another thing to see with your own eyes. And I understand not everyone can come, but if you can, it gives it that extra wow, and it makes it alive once again, or it gives that family that extra we're here for you feeling.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and I encourage anyone who's curious about Israel, or anybody that wants to educate themselves and find out the truth, to actually come here on the ground, to meet the people from all walks of life, from the Bedouin community, the Druze, Christians, Muslims, Jewish people. It's such a diverse community here. Everybody is resilient, and they're coming together, and you need to be on the ground to actually witness the emotion and to try and support these people in their time of need.
I've heard so many misconceptions. I work with journalists. I'm a journalist myself, and people have said anything from you need wartime training to come to Israel, and it costs $15,000 to come. And I said, no, and also that won't save you from terrorists. So as long as you're coming to Israel, and by the way, Israel's safer than, in my opinion, going on the New York City subway. So I go, really? Okay, I'm in.
I've been on that subway, so yes, I know what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. It's that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so now you had told me that you were always an activist, and then on October 7th came. And that's what really pushed you to, you saw these videos. And you saw there was more to a story. Tell me about that. Yeah,
so I report on a lot of issues in the world. I report on a lot of news stories on my X platform, on various news channels. But on October 7th, I was actually seeing the videos as they came through on Telegram and on
I remember thinking,
X.
oh my gosh, this must be Ukraine.
I just didn't think it was real. I thought, what is this? It's like a horror movie.
Yes.
And you're seeing families being held hostage live on Facebook streams, and you're seeing people being shot, their family dogs being shot, homes being burned, and never seen anything like it. It's worse than any horror film imaginable, and there was just so much of it, and it was obviously going on for a long time.
And also it felt like it came out of nowhere. Like one day it was a day, and the next day it was a horror film.
Right, exactly. And nobody expected that. And then what was even more shocking for me, and made me very emotional, and why I wanted to support Israelis, is seeing some of the response around the world. The fact that there were already protests on October 7th in London. There were some activists in New York. The Students for Justice for Palestine at Columbia University reactivated their Instagram account 3 hours or so before the attack.
Yeah, I'm sure that was very coincidental, huh?
So, seeing the world's response and being in disbelief, like how on earth could people react like that? It's like when 9/11 happened, the world rallies behind the victims, rallies behind America, and I was just in shock that the world wasn't rallying behind Israel, and it was clearly political, it was clearly antisemitism.
Now, I assume you don't speak Hebrew, right?
I know a couple of words, Shabbat Shalom, and I think that's it.
But that's okay. You know why?
Exactly.
Because when you come to Israel, you don't need to speak the language.
Oh, Am Israel High and L'chaim.
So you figure it out. So to all those who say, oh, I need to know the language, no, you don't. We're here to speak English too. So, welcome. Everyone's welcome, no matter what background you are, right? So how do you combat anti-Semitism via social media? What is your best way, and what have you been seeing? What trends?
Well, I think with the young generation, especially Gen Z, the way to communicate with them is not via news platforms or newspapers. It is via TikTok, it is via X and Instagram, and that's what the young generation see, 20-year-olds, teens. So that's how you get the message out there. So it's communicating to them in a way where you're educating them. I don't get too political on TikTok, but it's just trying to educate people, like showing them, for instance, I'm in Jerusalem right now, going around the Old Town, the Christian quarter, the Muslim quarter, showing them the diversity and the spirit of the Israelis. I think that is a very important thing. But when it comes to anti-Semitism, I think it's exposing these protest movements, the hate, because it's not just a pro-Palestine march. In almost every case, it is a anti-Semitic march. They're chanting for Intifada. So it's trying to expose these protests. I've done a lot of reporting on X about these protests last year when they had Colombia, UCLA, and it's then countering that with facts and also then contrasting that with Israeli people, their kindness when they hold vigils for the hostages. And I think just educating people through videos, through factual information is the best way to stand with Jewish people.
And when you don't know, it's okay, you can ask.
Exactly, do your research. And for me, I didn't know too much about Israel. I love history, so I liked the history of Israel. I didn't know too much until I actually started educating myself and researching. And that's what you need to do. There's so many misconceptions out there.
So heartwarming, really heartwarming.
It's just, basic, knowledge. You need to just study. Like everything in the world, every country in the world, you can't know about that country until you go there, until you meet people from all walks of life and experience being there, meeting communities. So
have you brought your family around along for the ride as well?
No. I mean, some of my friends, I've lost a lot of friends.
Sure.
Some don't understand the situation, and I just try to educate people. I'm always positive. I always like to show the beautiful side of Israel. Visiting different places, and
no place is perfect, but
exactly.
This place is home.
Every country has different issues, but I think Israel is a very special country where people are resilient. They come together in times of need to help one another. There's been so many volunteers since the war helping with farms because there was a shortage.
Yes, they kept them alive. It's amazing.
Exactly. There's doctors. I've visited some of the hospitals, the Bellinson Hospital. I've met with doctors about how they treated patients on October 7th. And it's just inspiring to see the love these people have. They've been through so much, and just to experience that love firsthand is very special.
It is. Well, Ali, I'm so proud that I'm so happy that we got to meet one another. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here for the JNS
Thank
conference.
you.
We're so pleased to have you.
Such a pleasure, and I love you guys at JNS for what you're doing. Spreading the truth out there. So thank you so much.
It's true. It's the one you can count on. Anyway,
exactly.
Keep on watching and staying with us at JNS. We're here to share with you this evening. We have more speakers, more experts, more stories to share. Stay tuned. I'm Ariella Novak. Speak to you soon.